an emerald, but I'm really close. I've got a goal of May 15th to hit diamonds. So Success Club, I've hit 10 ever since I started, but I've been, up and down. Last month I had 18. So I always try to hit at least 10. Coaching, it's been a little slow, but I'm very hopeful in this coach sneak peek that we have going on right now. I've got some very strong contenders, so I'm hopeful.
Cool. Okay.
She's being kind of modest, by the way. Do you guys agree? Like, she knocks it out of the park with Success Club points. Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing. And her like page is amazing.
I have good teachers.
Wow.
That's good. Success Club points are a good place to start. It's kind of what makes everything else happen. So, cool. Who's next?
Alyssa, you're next on my screen.
Okay, I'll try to remember all the questions. I started in October 2013 as a discount coach, and started kind of working the business that February, March kind of time of last year. I rank advanced to diamond in late February, but I've slipped back down to emerald. So working my way back up, hopefully by the end of this month. And Success Club points, I'm usually around 15-ish,
okay,
somewhere in there. And I have a goal this year to add 36 new coaches, so 3 a month. I had 0 last month, so I'm hoping to double up this month.
Okay, cool. All right. And Bridget?
Yeah, Bridget Hammond. I joined last July, so it hasn't been a full year, about 9 or 10 months. I'm diamond. I think that was in March or February, about 6-month mark. For SCs, I've never had less than 16, highest 30 maybe. So I'm trying to keep my 1-year streak of 16 and above. We'll see. I have 2 more months to go. I like to compete with myself. Coaches, for sure 2 a month. I've had some 4s and some 3s, but usually 2 or 3.
Cool. Okay. And Nicole, can you speak to us?
We can't hear you. Oh, there she is.
There she is. Yay.
Hey, beautiful. She's having computer issues. You're looking hot. Nicole Jeanette is just getting, Nicole's my only personally sponsored. And just to kind of give you the genealogy here, Jeanette. Mm-hmm. Alyssa is Nicole's personally sponsored.
Okay.
And Rachel is Bridget's personally sponsored. And Bridget is I wish she was personally sponsored, but she's 1 level below me. I'm her grandma.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
yes.
Nicole, we're just kind of filling in Jeanette on how long we've been doing the business, our current rank, and how we're doing with Success Club. So
and the person between Jess and I is not very active right now, just so you kind of know.
Yeah. I remember hearing that a while ago. Yes, I remember that. Can you speak, Nicole, or no? Maybe no?
No.
Okay, that's cool.
That's
all
okay.
right. No problem. Okay, I just wanted to get the quick rundown to, at least get briefed on who I'm talking to. And I didn't, I always have tons of content and things that I can talk about, but I don't want to spend too much time in one particular area if I'm preaching to the choir about something. And so I was going to try to speak more to where I feel like you might benefit from it most. So just give you my quick background and story. I know a lot of you, know me, but probably don't know my whole entire history. So let me just, kind of tell you where I came from and why I'm sitting here right now. I personally started, my Beachbody business when I hit rock bottom 4.5 years ago. I mean, I literally hit flipping rock bottom. I looked at myself in a mirror one day. I hated the person that I saw. I didn't recognize myself. I had drank and ate myself to 30 pounds overweight. I had lost everything. I had lost all of my money. I was freshly divorced. At one point in my life, I had, 250,000 hours in the bank, and I lost it all. I came out of an abusive marriage. My mom practically disowned me because I was drinking so much and, you know, wasn't being a good mom, and I had a little girl, and so like that was how I started Beachbody. That was when I looked at myself and said, oh my God, something has to change. And I didn't know what it was going to be or where my path was or where life was going to take me. But I just said, I have to change right now. And so I just started working out and going to the gym, and that's where I met all, you know, Amanda and everybody else, and got brought into this world. And being brought into the Beachbody world led me down this path of not only weight loss, but, you know, personal development and personal growth. Because what I knew when I started this business, I also started as a discount coach. You know, I just wanted to get healthier, and I tried Shakeology, and when I first saw the price tag of Shakeology, I was like, what? Are you flipping crazy? $120 shake? I mean, no way. And it's not that I couldn't spend that on protein drinks and other things I was buying from Whole Foods and whatnot, but on one shake, I was blown away. But I tried it anyway. Within that first week, I fell in love with it because it got me over this weight loss plateau, and then that was it. I was done. I was like, okay, I like the product, so I'm going to do it as a business. And the best thing that I did for myself right then and there is because I was just at this place in my life where I was like, I was starting over and I was going to do something different. And for me, failure was not an option. So I just said to myself, okay, I'm not going to try this business. I'm going to do this business, and I'm not going to fail. It wasn't an option. I didn't care if I had to talk to 100 people to get 2 or 5 yeses. I was going to talk to that many people. I started in Facebook. I started, with the A's, with the A's on my friends list, and it was very such a terrible way to go about things. But I mean, I just like bombarded all of my friends, and I was like, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach. Yeah. Terrible. But it worked. It worked. It got me into Success Club, and then different things started motivating me to keep going and build my business along the way. And the biggest thing that changed for me was my personal development and personal growth. And like that first year, I committed. I said, what skills do I need to learn to become successful at this business? What do I not know that I need to know? And for me, that was everything. That was social media. That was marketing. That was leadership. That was mindset. That was everything under the sun. And so I couldn't afford books when I first started the business because I'd lost all my money. And so I had to start with a library. And that was literally where my personal development, I borrowed from Amanda Dewey, my first personal development book. And and then after I read that first book, it fed my soul so much that I just kept, I couldn't put books down. And at the end of the year, I read 80 books. And I had started to invest in myself with the little money that I had back in 2011. That was, I started to invest in myself in personal development seminars, and I took out like a payment plan on one of my first personal development seminars, and I had to borrow money to make the last payment on that personal development seminar because the government came in and took a bunch of money that I couldn't afford to give them. So that was the story of my life in 2011. Fast forward 4 years, I've been through a lot, and I haven't regretted one little bit I've ever learned or done along the way. I haven't regretted one bit of information I've ever put in my head or personal growth that I've been a part of. Nowadays, I'm a certified high performance coach. I work for the man, Brennan Bouchard. I'm one of only 13 people in the whole world that can actually say that. I'm currently only one of 200 high performance coaches in the whole wide world, and I'm only one of 13 that works for him. And I've been working with Melissa McAllister, obviously, for 3.5, 4 years. And, together we've been in the top 10, I've helped her achieve top 10 3 of those 4 years. Started working with Amanda Dewey back in October of last year. And she came out of nowhere to hit elite. Started working with Michelle Park this year. I've turned down 4 other teams that wanted to hire me because I'm like, look, I'm spread too thin. I can't do this stuff anymore. So I have become a totally new and different person in the process of being a part of Beachbody. And so it's my passion and my mission to just change other people's lives and impact them the way that that people have impacted me. The love and support of a lot of people in this business has helped me get to where I am. And so I just feel like it's the circle of life to, to feed that energy back to other people. And so for me, I'm really, really, really passionate about Beachbody and the life that it provides and the life changes that it creates because of what it's done for me. Now, I don't really do Beachbody coaching anymore. My personal growth path took me, it wasn't my long-term calling is what I ended up realizing. I'm more valuable in other ways. But I still love Beachbody coaching. I still help a lot of people be successful coaches. But I felt like it was always the conflict of interest for me to try to build my own business while helping everybody else build theirs, in terms of like Melissa's and Amanda's of the world. So that was what took me down this path of certified high performance coaching. And so I really just kind of wanted to talk to you guys today about creating your own path and your own success in this business and the differences that I see in the really successful coaches in this business and what they do versus the ones that struggle. I've talked to a lot of coaches. I was talking to one recently when I was out at an event in California last week, and I'm not going to tell you who her name is, but she was previously a top 10 coach, and she hit top 10 just one time, and I asked Melissa about her, and I said, I thought she was a bigger name. I said, but she seemed to not have two nickels to rub together. And Melissa said, well, she was just a flash in the pan. And I just was sat there scratching my head because I had no idea. And I'm like, well, what happened to this girl? And so I've been around to watch a lot of successful people do this business, and I've been around to see people do that. Come in, achieve a lot really quick, and then die. And so I want you guys to be around to achieve the Millionaires Club and the multi-star diamond and the superstar diamond. And I want to tell you how to do that and what the difference is that I see in the coaches that I've worked with versus, actually I've worked with so many different coaches. I've seen a lot of them die, but, so I'm just going to tell you what I've seen. And then I'm also going to help you, create your own plan for your $1 million business. So I do hope you have a pen and paper in front of you. I do promise that, if you follow these plans, that you will have a long-term sustainable business. So the first thing is that the successful coaches, they focus on numbers and they don't worry about the actual results. So they don't worry about the no. We're all going to get tons and tons and tons of no's along the way. And the successful ones realize that and don't really care. Whereas the unsuccessful coaches feel like a no has to do with their identity and it defines them. And there's that mindset of, I have to be perfect and everybody I talk to has to want to join me. And if they don't want to join me, then I'm I'm not a good person. I didn't present it right. I don't know enough. There's all the stories you say in your head that what a no tells you versus the people that are recruiting 10, 20, 30, 50 people in a month. There's people that are doing that. The people that are doing that, they're just talking to more people and they're doing it more efficiently and they're doing it more effectively. They're getting themselves out there in a bigger and better manner. The successful people in this business, they have a plan from month to month. They know, like, on the first Monday of every month, I'm doing an open house. They know on the second Monday of every month, I'm starting my challenge group. They know on the third Monday of every month, they're doing something. They have their calendar and they have their plans. And based on their plans, they can always back up. Okay, so when do I need to put people into a group? When do I start posting in this group? When do I start advertising for this group? Who am I? They always have a plan. So whereas the unsuccessful people are like, okay, what's on sale? What should I do? Oh, I need my successful points. Let me, try to just throw a bomb out there this week and see what can happen. The really successful people in this business, they work really hard to get momentum started, and then they just never let that momentum stop. I equate it to, to going uphill. And it's just like for a little while, it's effort. It's effort. You're trudging and it's like, oh my God, am I ever going to get there? But then all of a sudden you hit the peak and then it starts working with you. That momentum starts working with you. And you just don't let it go. The unsuccessful people hit Success Club one month and then like, oh, my life got in the way the next month. I have my kid's birthday to plan for. I have family coming into town. I have a vacation to take. And all of those things start getting in the way, and they all become excuses. The successful people don't have the excuses. They do the business no matter where they are, what they're doing, and that's it. We had a girl on Melissa's team that came in as a relatively brand new coach. She was getting married. I have had coaches put off this business because they're getting married. This girl got married, and on her honeymoon, I think she sold like 10 challenge packs on her honeymoon. We're all like, we're laughing at her. You know, you're like, you're supposed to be, you know, doing other stuff on your honeymoon, but here she's pimping challenge packs and growing her business. No excuses. That girl has hit Success Club 10 every month in the business, hit diamond really quick. And then there's other people that are like, that say, I'm trying. And I know the people that tell me I'm trying, and yet they can't hit Success Club. They're relying on the same 5 people, and they're pounding their head talking to the same 5 people over and over and over again. Whereas the successful people are talking to 5 people every day, not 5 people every month, and basing all their hopes on that. The successful people, they don't attempt to do it all alone. They utilize their team, and that not only means upline and crossline, but also downline. And so what you're quickly going to realize is that everybody has different strengths. You know, we all have these different personality types. Some people are really good at knowing all the rules. And I was always a policies and procedures girl, man. When I first joined, I read that whole policies and procedures manual cover to cover, I think 3 times. And because I knew all those rules inside and out, that's why people started coming to me and saying, hey, Jeanette, what's this mean? And that was kind of how I just started to make my way into relationships, because I got to become the know-it-all accidentally. And so that's my personality type. A lot of people come into this business, and like some people like challenges. They like competitions. They like challenges. Some people like to create. They like to shoot videos, do training. Some people are really good at a lot of different things. Some people focus on fun. Some people, they have strength in developing maybe websites or technical things, or creating documents. Do you ever have those people that create these really, really pretty pictures or documents or stuff like that? That is not me. I am not a pretty picture and document person. I can write content all day long, but have me make it look pretty, and I'm like, I will hire somebody on Elance to do it. So the really successful people take advantage of those, and it doesn't matter whether people are below you or brand new coaches. Sometimes brand new people come in and can serve you a big purpose on your team. So enable them, put them in a leadership role right away. You know, this isn't, you really have to grow yourself as a leader, and be willing to admit that, look, it's not my responsibility to know everything or do everything or be everything. You have to create the leaders on your team. So successful people use everybody around them and make them assets. And then the last thing that really, really successful people do, and then I'm going to go into the plan to do this, is it's constantly growing themselves. So I really believe that your business only will grow as much as you do. And so many people come into this business, and a lot of people won't start because they feel like, I'm not a salesperson. I don't have any skills. I don't know how to do that. So they're never even willing to start. The fear over not having those skills prevents them from starting. Other people come into the business and they realize that that they can learn, but they're not really willing to put in the time and the effort into learning. They might try, you know, that quote unquote try. I'm going to talk to my 5 closest people that are most likely to tell me no. And after they tell me no, I'm going to consider myself a failure. And then they don't realize when you tell them, look, you have to grow yourself and you have to learn some skills. They don't even think that they can change. The people that aren't successful in this business say, I am the way I am, you know, and that's all that I am or ever will be. That how many people do you have come on your team that say, I'm shy? Do you think that shy is a characteristic that you can't overcome, that you can't get rid of, you know, that you can't practice at being better at? Those people that say I'm not confident, 4 years ago, I wasn't a confident girl either. I couldn't look people in the eye. I could start conversations. I didn't know how to ask questions in conversations. But those are all skills that can be learned. So the people that grow their long-term businesses grow themselves. So with that, the one stat I want to preface this with before we get into the personal development plan is that the stats are that out in the normal world that only 20% of people are in supervisory roles. 20% of people are in supervisory roles. 5% of people have made it up to the executive level of life, the management and executive levels. And only 2% of people on planet Earth are CEO level or small business owner people. 2% to be small business owners. And I'm like, that is a startling statistic to me. And what that means to me is that almost 80%, it's about 75% of people are just doing mundane, boring jobs just to get by. And so when we start our Beachbody business and we start bringing on coaches and we get, that 8 or 10 coaches on our team, how many of you have been frustrated by the fact that only one of them is doing anything, or 2 of them, or you're struggling to get anybody to move? I think that we've all been there at some point in our business. And the reason why we tell you it's a largely a numbers game with this business is because it's a numbers game in life. When only 2% of people out in the world are small business owners, you can expect that only probably about 2% of people you talk to will want to do this business. It's not because it's a bad business. It's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you're a bad leader. It's just because people are lazy and they don't even have a vision for their future. They don't feel like they have time. They can't change themselves. And so you're dealing with a very, very small percentage of people that will actually make that effort in their life. So give yourself a little bit of patience with your business, with finding the right people, with growing the right people. Understand that I've always tried to preach the 80-20 rule, that only about 20% of the people that you ever bring on to this business will even try to do something in the business. And then you can break that down even further and say about 20% of those will actually do something with the business. This, by the way, this is what the stats bear out. So about 20% of people will come in, maybe hit Success Club, won't be real consistent with the business. About 20% of those will go on to advance to the diamond level ranks. So there's about 4 to 5% of people in the company that hit diamond. And then about 20% of those go on to really create kick-ass awesome businesses. So always kind of remember those stats, and that it's largely not you, which doesn't mean to say, don't put effort and don't try with every single coach, but don't wear yourself out, beating every single coach. Always just keep the turn going. Be a great leader, provide the tools and do all that stuff, but realize it's largely a numbers game. So let me refer to my notes because I see it's going to be 9:30, so I want to make sure I hit all the most important stuff. Okay, so here's what I want you to think about for your personal development plan. This is the most important part I wanted to really hit. For your personal development plan, I want you to think about three big areas. Habits that you think that you need to implement or develop to be successful in the business. If I were sitting on a one-on-one phone call with you, I'd probably ask you to give me like 5 habits that it would take you to be successful with this business. I would ask you to tell me what 5 skills and what 5 traits you think you need to have. So what 5 skills do you need to develop? What 5 traits do you think you need to have? And then I would ask you to think, okay, so first of all, I would talk to you, and I can't get super interactive with the short time that we have here, but I would ask you to paint your vision for the future. Where do you see your business going? Do you want to be a superstar diamond in this business? Do you want to be $1 million earner when Beachbody launches international next year? Do you want to be in a position to take advantage of that? Do you want to be able to travel to Australia when we go to Australia and maybe launch over there, or have a life of freedom later? And if you have those visions, then I'd ask you to think about what of you do you need to develop to get you there? And think of that number one skill that you want to start with. And I'm sure there's probably 5 skills that you can probably think of. There's going to be like leadership and social media and online training and developing team and all of this stuff. You're going to think of a lot of things. But I want you to start out with one thing. And I tell you this because I wish that somebody told me this 4 years ago. When I started reading, I didn't know what the hell to read, so I just read everything, and I didn't have a plan or a focus or anything. I just read, and I basically kept myself pretty well in a personal development constant cycle forever. And had I known earlier what I'm about to tell you, I would have had a lot more content and a lot more stuff created right now. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to start out with one skill that you want to do. And then I want you to focus on that one skill and master in that one thing. Pick 3 to 5 personal development books on that one particular subject. If you want to be more confident, find 3 to 5 books on being more confident. Find 2 to 3 audio CDs on being more confident. And listen to those things. I personally recommend, as a leader and as somebody that wants to grow and as somebody that wants to create a kick-ass business, I recommend at least 30 minutes a day for both of those. 30 minutes reading, 30 minutes listening. That's an hour of personal development every day. I probably do at least an hour of each. But I do this full time, and that's like all I do. I learn and teach. So for leaders of your business and people that want to grow something great, I recommend that you do 30 and 30 minimum. And then outside of books and audio CDs, I recommend that you find one other thing. If you can afford to attend a seminar type thing, or if that type of thing comes about, totally go to a seminar. Going to a seminar is really what changed my whole world. If you can't attend a seminar, find these online webinars or online trainings. Find and follow those people that offer the type of subjects that you're working on. You can find, Shirley Johnson just did a webinar earlier today on confidence, right? I've done webinars on how to do Facebook ads. Whatever you're looking for, there's little leadership webinars and growing your online business and online marketing webinars. So if you can't attend an actual in-person event, doing an event like that is also a good way to grow. Then when you're reading those books, don't just tear through them all and then cast them aside and be like, okay, what's next? What I'd like you to do with every single one of those things that you do is pick the 3 most important points from every one of them. And there might be 100 important points in one, but don't get overwhelmed, because being overwhelmed and having too much on your plate is just going to lead you to inaction. So pick the 3 most important points from each one, implement at least one of those things that week, and then do it for at least a month, and then evaluate. And you can go back and add in the second habit if you want, or you can, the ultimate thing is evaluate, see how it works for you, and then add in. I don't like to add in too much to my life at once. I can't change 10 habits all at once. I have to implement a habit, own it, realize I have it, it fits well into my life, and then I can do another one. So go back and keep adding things back into your plate and growing yourself over the course of time. And as you're implementing one habit and you're reading another book, then you can keep trying to tailor and move yourself. So whatever you're doing, make sure, I highly recommend, whenever you go through personal development books, I do this nowadays, but I probably read 300 books before I started doing this. Whenever I go through books, I type up notes, or on Kindle, which I just recently started using Kindle. You can highlight right on the Kindle, and then it has your little clipping section after you're done. I love that little clipping section, but I still love to take my notes, and I like to type them up in a Google Documents worksheet, so that when I need a quick find later, I go onto Google Docs and I just type in the keyword that I'm looking for. If you wanted me to give you a presentation on leadership right now, I would go into my Google Docs and look at all my notes on leadership and be like, okay, boom, there it is. So take your notes, put it in a little file on Google Docs or wherever it's accessible to you, and leave it there. Keep track of the books that you read, put your notes in there, and do that for all of those personal development books you read. By the time you have read 3 to 5 books on a subject, listened to 2 to 3 audios on a subject, and attended an event or an online webinar, you probably have really pretty well mastered that skill. Like, check that shit off your list. And then the last and the final and the most important step, in my opinion, is to teach it to your team. And I believe that teaching something is what creates mastery. When you study things with that mindset of I'm going to have to teach this to somebody else, you look at it and you absorb it in a different way. And when you have to take all the information that you just put in your body to develop yourself and you have to teach it to somebody else, it just deepens it and enhances it within you. So pretty much as soon as you're done mastering a skill, shoot a video on it and say, look, here's my top 3 tips. Here's my top 5 tips that I learned on how to develop your confidence, and share it with your team. Or create a file of your notes and type up something. When somebody comes to you later on and says, hey, I need a really good book on confidence or mindset or leadership, you're going to be like, look, I read these books in the past. Here's my notes on it, or here's a good place to start for you. And you'll have a personal development plan for them. You'll be able to see, this is what impacted me. Here's what I learned. Here's my video. Share it with your team. So you might have a list of, 5 to 10 skills that you might want to work on. And that 5 to 10 skills, it may take you 6 months. And I know that may seem daunting. For every one big skill you pick, it's probably going to take you 1 to 2 months probably to develop it with a plan. But don't let that 6 months or a year of developing yourself be scary, because if you're planning to be around in 1 year or 5 years, do you want a 5-year plan or do you want a 1-month plan? Are you looking long term, or are you just looking at next week? The successful people look long term. I would have never planned my life for where I started 4 years ago to where I am now. I would have never thought I could even got here. But I knew that I was going to do whatever it took and stay on that journey. Now, I wish I had this plan, but I know that the 6 to 12 months may seem kind of daunting. So here's what I encourage you guys to do, especially since you're all on this phone call. Maybe confer with each other and swap ideas on the things that you're going to learn and the skills that you're going to develop and the things that you're going to study, and share with each other. So let's say Jess is going to start with confidence, and Bridget is going to start with social media, and Alyssa is going to start with leadership, and you guys all study different things. It doesn't mean you won't all study those separately at some point, but share with each other. So when you're done with one subject, shoot a video and teach the rest of the people what you learned. And then that'll at least give them some insight as to, oh, yeah, I want to know that. I want to study that. I want to learn that. Or no, I'm going to put that off for a couple months. And then just build within yourselves. So that's my personal development plan. Let's see here. As far as, I know you all kind of mentioned that you were struggling with recruiting coaches. You're at least, none of you are recruiting 10 a month. So let me just touch on that area real quick. I have always wondered what the struggle is with people that get a lot of success club points, the 15, 20, 25, 30 success club points that struggle to bring on coaches. We have had a few of those, and I talked to one of them recently. And so I don't know if any of you will identify yourself in this particular statement or not, but this coach told me, I don't invite everybody to coaching. I just invite a select few people, and she was just generally unwilling to invite everybody that bought a challenge pack. There was some hesitation in her head that said, I can pre-identify the people. I don't think this is the right opportunity for everybody, and I'm not going to offer it to everybody. So we challenged her. We have this little group going on to try to get Melissa double 15 star. And so we have this group of 15 coaches working together to do that right now. And several of us put pressure on this coach. And we said, you have got to, get yourself out there and invite everybody and issue that challenge. And so we started swapping ideas for what other people are doing. Now, we have a guy in the group that doesn't really like to lead his business with challenges and weight loss and challenge packs. He likes to lead with the business opportunity. He literally, that's like his first thing. He goes out and he's like, look, it's a great business. You want to make some money? You want to make a living? You want to like do something great? You want to own your own business for under $200? Work at home? Do you want to have a break-even business in the first 30 days? You want to, invest $200, and I'll show you how to sell to 3 people, or how to get your money back with helping 3 people change their lives. And then you're in a free business. And then after you're in a free business, it's wash, rinse, repeat. You got no investments to worry about. We don't have to worry about you going bankrupt, because you're in a free business now. And I'll just show you the simple skills of building this business. So that's what he does. And that's authentic for him, because he's the business guy. He's a guy. And what I've found is that a lot of guys like to build the business that way. They don't really like the coaching process. They don't like guys don't like to work out together. They don't like that close-knit thing that women like. So that's his way of being authentic about his business. Other people, they like to introduce coaching straight up front. Like anybody that buys a challenge pack, you can just say, look, you get this challenge pack and be a customer, and that's great. Or you can decide to join as a coach, and here's what you're going to get as a coach. It's going to be a whole extra layer of accountability. When your shipment ships next month, you get that 25% off. By the way, you're going to be hanging out with a great group of ladies, and you're going to be more motivated to your success because there's going to be people watching you, because you're going to be able to share your story and build a business and have the ability to generate an income and a life-changing future. So you're going to be more motivated to stay on your path, and I think it's Trevor Kucherin that says you're 10 times more likely to see success as a coach than you are as just a customer. And I think that's always been his line that he's used via email. So think about the different ways that you're talking about the business and that you're speaking of the business, because I know why I'm so passionate about the business and why people can get me onto 3-way phone calls all day long is because I don't lead with the products. I don't try to tell you the 70 ingredients in Shakeology. I don't care about the fitness programs and what they can do for you. I love them, they work. But what changed my life is the community and the support and the positivity. I didn't have people like you guys in my life. Ever once in my life did I have people like you. I didn't have the encouragement and the support, and I didn't have people go and say, hey, set big goals and go kick ass at them. No, I was told go get a 40-hour-a-week job and go work for the government to 20 to 25 years and collect a pension and then retire. And then maybe when you're 60 or 70 or 80 years old, then maybe you'll have enough money to go travel and see the world. And that just never sounded like the plan that wanted to work for me. So I always had to really struggle to break free of that mindset, of the mindset that I grew up with. When I went on diets over the course of my life, I had those people around me that were like, want a cookie? Here, Jeanette, we're going out for fried chicken. Oh, you're on a diet, too bad. I had those people around me. And so this is what I feel like is my family of choice. And regardless of the path that I do right now, regardless of the fact that I'm a certified high performance coach primarily, I will never leave the Beachbody community because it's life-changing for me. And I feel like all the people that I know, it's life-changing for them because it's the friendships and the memories and the trips and the positivity and the encouragement and all of that. And so when you're talking to people about this business, I want you to think about what's impacted you, what drew you in, why do you stay around? Why are you going to even want to grow this business long term? What's going to keep you around? What's going to keep you happy? What fills your soul doing this? And think about, what somebody else might want and what somebody else might need. I don't even think the coaching discount is that great. I would never pitch anybody on the coaching discount. I'm like, hey, you get the net saving $13 a month. Woohoo! It's just not what I would want to lead with. I would just be like, look, you get this whole extra layer of accountability. You get this whole family. This is who I choose to associate myself with. You know, do you want to grow and have a successful life in the long term? You want to surround yourself with the right people. Being successful is always about surrounding yourself with the right people. Back at the beginning, I said, you know, the successful people, they don't do it alone. They use all the people around them. They partner up. They have success partners. They have great teams. They get in accountability groups. They get in challenge groups. People don't do life alone. And it's all about who you surround yourself with. So think about the people that you're talking to and who they want to surround themselves with. I want you guys to think about your uniqueness and your talents and what makes you awesome. I think that so often as Beachbody coaches that we get so wound up in the, I'm not this person. I don't have a six-pack of abs. I can't do what they did. I'm not special. I'm not unique. I don't stand out. And that is the story that so many people tell themselves. And it's so not true. You're unique and you're special in so many ways. And when you just learn to be authentic and passionate and true to you, and think about the people that you like to hang out with and the people that you want to attract, and the person that you are and what makes you awesome, you know, what makes people like you? What made people like you before you became a Beachbody coach? And exploit that stuff. And don't feel like you have to be 100% coach 100% of the time. You're human. Share your vulnerabilities, share your flaws, share your stories, and just put that out there, because that's what makes you connectable and relatable and unique and real and a draw. And so think about those things. And try to remember, because let's see, it's 9:45. You want me to leave a few minutes for questions, Jess? Okay. Let me just look at my notes super duper quick, and you guys can think of the questions that you want. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything super important. Oh, yes. My last 2 cents for you is going to be this is a business. It's a real business. And in 5 years, you can all be making $1 million a year. I don't even know if you guys realize that, if that is even real and attainable in your head at this particular point. But you could be making $1 million a year in 5 years. You could be making $1 million a year in 5 years. Serious. You don't have to be all that smart. You don't have to be all that hot. You don't have to be all that amazing to accomplish $1 million business. You know, a lot of people, if you were investing in McDonald's, you'd have to invest $1 million up front, and it would take you 5 years to make your $1 million back. This business, you can actually be making $1 million of the positive in 5 years. So the thing that I suggest and the thing that I recommend that you do as part of your plan, as part of your personal development, part of your growing yourself with this, is set aside a plan for your income. I know it's really easy to get those big paychecks, and I don't know what you guys do with them. I've, a lot of bills to pay. I'm sure kids to take care of, stuff to buy, clothes, trips, all that stuff. But I highly suggest to create a plan for yourselves, to always make sure that you set aside a certain percentage of your dollars to invest in advertising your business. You can't grow without advertising. It's a real business. And if you just try to take this willy-nilly and always struggle with talking to your friends or the people you meet at the supermarket or whatever, your business may grow, but it's going to grow really slowly. Whereas if you take a couple $100 or $100 or whatever every month and you invest it into constant advertising, and then take profits and take half of your profits and reinvest it into growing your advertising budgets, and then add to your living style as you're growing, but add to your growth of your business. So come up with that budget and that plan that works for you in advertising your business and also investing in yourself. For every dollar that you spend on your own personal development, I don't know who came up with these numbers, but supposedly every dollar you spend in personal development pays you back about 30 times over. So I know where that puts my life here in the relatively short term. I'm looking forward to it. But it's always paid me back. I mean, sincerely, when I started this business, I was literally making $18,000 a year on nothing but military disability. I was broke. There was too much a month at the end of the money. At the last week or two of the month, I wasn't even 100% sure whether I'd be able to buy groceries. And to be able to sit where I am today, I just took a mentorship with Bo Eason, which was a very substantial investment, and I paid cash for it. So, and it was more than what I used to make 4 years ago. So to be able to say that I'm able to invest in cash what I didn't even make 4 years ago shows you how much personal development pays you back. So set aside a certain chunk of income every single month for your advertising, for your marketing, and for you. And if you do that, you will have $1 million business in 5 years. So I'm going to open it up for questions.
Jeanette, do you have a certain percent that you advise?
I knew you were going to ask me that question.
I know.
That was my question too.
The truth is that I would say it's as much as you can afford. But if I were to give you, because I don't know what the state of your current finances are, to be honest with you. I mean, you have to have like that base level. You know that you need to make a certain amount of income to pay your bills and to live. And I don't mean pay your bills and buy fancy new clothes and all that stuff every month. I mean like the basics, to put a roof over your head, to eat. And I don't know in your household if you have somebody helping you out with that or not. But I know I didn't. And so like there was that threshold. And so then above that threshold, I didn't do anything except invest in myself. Like if I made $100 profit, I was spending $100 on investing in myself. I would probably say, learn to live on half of your income. So whatever you make, cut it in half. And I would probably take of that half, hopefully you can live on half of it, and then put away about 10% of it into savings, and then take the rest and invest in your business. So if that's like 40% of your income left over, I don't know that there's a best theory for take 20% and put it into marketing and 20% into personal development. I would probably say over the course of my 4 years, I've invested most of it into personal development. I probably invested 40% of my income into personal development. I mean, I probably spent $100,000 in it. Pretty close at this pretty point. I don't even want to think about it all because it's scary. I would probably say I would take like half. But you got to figure out what's right for you, and just figure out a budget for you. Whatever it is, there's no right or wrong. Maybe you start with $50 in an advertising budget right now based on your income. Let's say you're making $500 a month and you say I'm spending 10% on advertising. Well, let's say your income goes up next month. Take a percentage of the difference and put it back into advertising. So if your income goes up to $600 and you made an increase of $100, but you were already living at the $500 level, like take that extra $100 and say I'm putting $50 back in to my advertising, and I'm gonna increase my living by $50. And then if it goes up to $1,000, then just keep reinvesting. But you have to figure out what's right for you. Create what's comfortable. I had to have an emergency fund. I wanted to put together an emergency fund because there was that constant nagging feeling of me always taking care of myself. There was that constant nagging feeling of what if all hell broke loose. What if everybody stopped loving me and I didn't have a job anymore? What if? Mm-hmm. So I like to have a 3-month plan of savings. But yeah, I'd probably go with a 20% rule, 20%, and then save 10 or 20% and spend the rest.
Okay. That helps. Thank you.
Yep.
That help you, Alyssa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. Questions, ladies? Don't be shy. And Nikki, I know you can't talk right now, but you can chat it in the chat box if you got a question.
Oh, wait. I see a chat thingy down there. Let's see.
Questions, ladies?
Well, first of all, thank you. The call was amazing. I wrote so much down. I learned a ton. I am definitely guilty of being that person that kind of pre-identifies people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm new. I'm still really wet behind the ears, and so that rung true with me. And I guess I'm a little bit fearful of leading with the coaching opportunity, but I mean, is that just my personality and I just have to?
No, you're going to have to probably develop that out. You're going to probably have to just develop the mindset out. I think that partially has to do with your belief. I really think that you just have to have a very well-developed belief in all the positives of it. It might be fearful to talk to people about the income first when you haven't achieved a certain level of income. It's hard to go to people and say you can make a six-figure business in 2 to 3 years if you haven't achieved the six-figure business, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very hard to present what you don't have or what you haven't personally experienced. So that's just kind of something that you're going to have to grow into, I think, and develop out of yourself. By growing your own business, by just doing those little things along the way, and also by looking at that grand picture. Like I said, it's not always, people don't always just want to join this business for the money. They have a lot of reasons for joining the business. And so I honestly, I don't like to do a lot of talking. If I'm going to ask people to join me in this business or in even a challenge group, I don't want to do a lot of talking. I want to let them talk. I want to know what makes them tick. What are they passionate about? What have they tried in the past? What do they struggle with? What do they need the most help with? How can I help them? What are they looking for? If they could wave a magic wand and get everything in the world they wanted to be a healthier version of them, what would they tell me they needed? If I want them to join the business, I might show them that introducing Team Beachbody video from the back office, and then say to them afterwards, what did you like best about it? And if they told me, wow, the trips look really cool, I'm not going to say, hey, let me show you the compensation plan. That wouldn't be where I went. So you just have to learn to ask people questions and find out what makes them tick and what makes them happy, and be willing to present based on them and not on you. I think that the people that tend to be hesitant about this business tend to be more me focused. They're it's almost like you feel like you're duping somebody into coming in, like, haha, sucker, I got them. And so you have to get that out of your head. Like, it's an amazing business. It changes so many lives. And I honestly 100% attribute my association with Beachbody, and not even Beachbody, but like the teams in Beachbody. That's another thing I kind of forgot to mention to you is don't lead with Beachbody. Like, Beachbody is just a big, ugly corporation. You got to lead with you, and you got to lead with your teams. You got to lead with, I work for Team Made, and she doesn't talk about Beachbody. She talks about Team Made. That's her team, and that's her culture, and that's her group. She yelled at her team the other day because she made a post and said, hey, how has Team Made impacted your life? And some girl went on there and said, Beachbody, Beachbody, Beachbody. And she's like, it's not about Beachbody. It's about the team, and it's about you. So lead with that first, because Beachbody is a commodity. You're not. Your team's not. So you'll learn to embrace that. All right, hang on a minute. Let me see what Nicole put. Any specific books or seminars you can recommend? I hate when people ask me this question. That's my least favorite one, because as far as books, it always depends on what you need and what you're looking to develop. My default answer is, when in doubt, refer to The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, if you haven't read it. That was my first personal development book ever. and it set me on the path. All of those topics in there were the things that I was like, oh, I need to know more about this. And and I've read that book 2 or 3 times, I think. Love that book. I've read a lot of John Maxwell books for leadership. I've read every Brendan Burchard book because he's one of my mentors. I'm a big fan. Seminars, I'm all Brendan Burchard seminars mostly. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if I've done other seminars. I've been to like 9 or 10 of Brendan's seminars. I've been to Bo Eason, Roger Love. Not really relevant to Beachbody at this particular point. Here, looking at my stuff. My goodness, I've read so many different things. I seriously, can you, if you want to give me a topic, I could probably narrow it down to a book. Yes, so on the learning more than doing and getting stuck. Yes, that's part of the reason that I gave you the personal development plan with the pick the 3 to 5 books, 2 audios, in a seminar of some sort, is because what that does is it forces you to get unstuck. It basically makes you read a subject and pick one major point and implement. Like every single book that you read, or every seminar or every audio you listen to or whatever, you have to take, that's my rule, you have to take one point out of it and implement it right away. But even if you happen to go through all 5 of those books and all 3 of those audios and listen to them all at once, even if you have the most important part is taking the notes and narrowing it down to that 3 points. And once you narrow it down to that 3 points, that has got to be your practices. That's got to be your implementation. So if point number 1 to develop more confidence is to go out and fail a whole bunch of times, or go out and practice something that's scary to you, and your step number 1 is go out and do something scary, well, go out and do something scary. That whatever you write down, those 3 tips are where you have to start. Whereas if you do it like me, I read like 7,000 books, and then I went back and said, okay, now that I figured it out, now what should I go back and implement? It took me a while to implement because I needed so much change in what I even thought. I really had a lot to work on my mind. So that's why I recommend what I do is write down those tips and implementing them right away. And then evaluate it after 1 month. After you've read a book or several books, implement 1 tip, evaluate it after a month, and then you can change if you want to, or add something else to your plate, or scrap it all together. Just because you write something down and try it for a month doesn't mean you're stuck there. You guys can change your mind and change your decisions over the course of time. So never feel like you're stuck on a path. Yes, fail big this month. Absolutely. Any tips for engaging people from ads? My biggest tips are just asking lots of questions. Where what most people seem to do with ads is they want to get it over with so fast that they puke the second email. So this is the standard ad switch. Somebody friend requests you. You're like, hey, thanks for friend requesting me. Here's my little blurb about myself. I'm a Beachbody coach, whatever. Tell me about yourself. What are your health and fitness goals? Something like that. That's usually about how the first one goes. And then the person responds, I want to lose 10 pounds, and I've really been struggling with this baby weight, and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, cool, perfect. I have a great solution for you. It involves Shakeology and this program and this accountability group and this challenge pack. Does this ring a bell with anybody?
Yeah.
This is pretty normal, right? So that's a normal swap. I highly encourage you to swap about when possible. Some people get annoyed with you, and that's fine. Those probably aren't going to be your long-term customers anyway. But when possible, swap 5 to 7 emails with them, and dig deep into the whys and the whats and the hows. And when you're sitting here thinking, well, I don't even know what to ask them. Write down before you start doing those ads again or in trying to engage people again, write down your top 5 to 10 questions. I always love to ask people, What programs have you tried in the past? What did you like about them? What did you not like about them? What's your biggest struggle when you try to diet? What do you think you would need most from me? What kind of coach are you looking to work with? Do you have family support at home? Is your family going to be doing this with you? Tell me about your home life. What does your schedule look like? And if you can't think of questions, Google a book on questions on Amazon. Type in questions. I literally did this one day, and there's a bunch of books on asking great questions. As a one-on-one coach, especially, I had to learn how to ask lots of great questions to get people to have insights about themselves. I'm not an expert in everybody's life, but I have to be that person that can change their thinking and jog the way they think and do things. But in order to do that, I have to be able to ask good questions and ask them, why do they think a certain way? Is that true? I have to challenge their behaviors and their actions and their thoughts. So if you can't think of questions right off the top of your head, write down a bunch or Google some books. So the way is definitely questions.
That helps. All right. Ladies, we've had Jeanette for an hour. Any last question before we let her go? She's been amazing. I have so many notes. Any last questions? Alyssa, did you have a specific question you wanted to ask?
I was just going to ask if you had a resource for, say I pick a skill and I want to look for personal development. Do you have a resource other than Google for finding really good personal development books or audio?
You know what? No, Amazon. Amazon is where I always look at Amazon first, and I find the books that are ranked the highest. I have a long list of books that I've read. I ask my friends what they've read because I run in a circle that values personal development a lot. So I ask people what books they've read and get lots of references from other folks, get ideas. There's a long list of books on places like platinumpresenters.com. Christine has a big laundry list of recommended reading. I can probably pull you a list of books that people on the wall, the 5-star and above wall, have recommended, and those are places that have often sparked my path to learning. Is I'm like, oh, well, that'd be cool to learn about that skill. And then once I find one book, a lot of times in those books they'll have a list of resources at the end. And so I'll look at what their resources are. Success Principles. I know you can't see this. Success Principles has this big old resource list at the end, and he breaks it down. It's a big exhaustive resource list. So he has little categories back here. There's corporate success, entrepreneurial success, mindset, and he has his own references listed back here. And I'm like, these are good places to start. So I look in the books that I'm already reading. I ask people. I use Amazon and their reviews. And yeah, that's where I start. So
perfect. Thank you.
Good advice. Thank you.
Yep. Cool. Well, ladies, it's been fun.
Thank you so much.
Yes. One thing I do challenge you to do, though, getting off this call, is to paint that vision for the future. You have got to create a vision for you to live into, create that thing that makes it all worth fighting for, to believe that you can get there, and to, if you can make a magic wand and be to that destination tomorrow, what would it look like? What would your perfect life look like? What's your rank? What's your income? Where are you living? And all that stuff. And then when you have that vision and when you have something to dream for, start going back from there and thinking, what do I need to do to grow into that vision? What kind of person do I need to become? And it's going to be little baby steps along the way, but love the journey. It's so much fun. The journey and the failures are so much fun. If you are nothing but successful from this point out, it's going to be boring because you're not going to have any stories to tell people and to teach people. The failures are the fun part. I like telling people I started from bankrupt and broke and depressed, and I almost blew my head off about 7 times. It's scary. It's scary, but I like looking back on that, because if I didn't have that, then I wouldn't have so much to connect with people on. So paint that vision and be happy with the journey that you're taking and the growth that you're going to have. and think about the person that that you want to live into. I'll leave you with this. Think of 3 words that define the best of you. 3 words that define the best of you when you show up to the world every day. And that's going to be different words for every single one of you. And I'm not asking you the 3 words that define the best of you right now. I'm asking you to pick 3 words that define the best of you. Like, who would be the best person that would show up every day if you were your most successful self? Is she positive? Is she patient? Is she purposeful? I like P words apparently. But think of those 3 words that you want to live into, that you want to show up as, and then ask yourself why those words are important and how you can live into those every day. Remind yourself of those words on a regular basis. I honestly, I'm a high performance coach. I have an alarm set on my phone that reminds me of my 3 words 3 times a day. It's my alarm when I get up in the morning. It's my alarm before I go pick my daughter from school, and it's my alarm for my daily check-in before I retire for the day. That's my 3 times that I check in with myself. And I say, did you have a great day today, Jeanette? So are you being the best person that you can be? Are you living into these words? And so do that stuff for yourself, and you'll be a different person very soon. But you're all awesome right now. Thank you for your hour of your time. Hopefully it was good.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.